Hey man, old Slick here. Man, I finally got my upper and lower crash bars for my African twin. Now, I know there's a lot of different ones out there, but I went ahead and got the GIVI, G-I-V-I. I know I'm probably not saying that right, but anyway, for a lot of reasons. One reason is they're probably half the price of the others. And I've had GIVI crash bars on a smaller bike that I had, a Himalayan, and it fell over a couple times, and it didn't crash. And I know there's, like I say, there's some amazing crash bars out there. See them pushing them down into concrete and watching them fall and all that cool stuff. I believe this is the lower. The product number for the other ones are TNH1178. I'm going to start with the lowers first, and it did have them. It's got a manual. And what I always do, the first thing is I lay these out. There's those, those. And then I check this very carefully and I lay it out. Okay, looks like the first thing I have to do is take off this engine guard here. It comes off on a left side and a right side. The left side has to come off first, then this. Okay, next thing you gotta get, there's a screw down here. And up here, it's on the same side, but kind of behind that a little further is another screw. This is a 12, and I think that's a 14. And I got that 12 loosened real hard. It was pretty easy. But when I got over here to this one, man, that joker was tough. Now, so to get that, I wedged that wrench in there. I got those on, one there and one there. And my suggestions on that is there's a larger bolt, goes up to the top. That was actually 17 millimeter. The bottom is a 10. I put the bottom one in first just to get it started, then tried to put the top one. Could never get it to take, so I took the bottom one out, did the big bolt first, got it started, then the bottom one got started. Okay, I'm on the left side of the bike. Like the next thing I'm gonna remove is this piece here and this piece here. When this comes off, this is going to come up here. Okay, I put that little wonky bit on there. Okay, work that little piece around there. These two went straight on. Put that other piece back on that I took off earlier. That fit in there. And that fit in there. I mean, it fit like butter. Now, I got it loose, because I'm going to put some uppers up here, and there's going to be some adjusting. You get the nut, if you get the nut of the bolt started in the hole, you're a winner. Actually went pretty easy. Had to change that screw out for this longer one. The spacer went behind that. I actually took this cap off just to have a little more room to work. The hardest part about this was putting that nut behind there. So the nuts with a rubber washer in it. And yeah, I went from the bottom with my fingers and lined it up. And I had this loose, still loose. I haven't tightened this up yet. All this is loose. And I had this real loose, and I had to push him. I had to push with my head. Push my head right there and push him. Had my wrench on my left hand, had my right hand in there. Like I say, took that cap off. Got my fingers. It took a little while. It's probably the hardest thing I've done so far. I think they're gonna be fine. Okay, good. You can see I'm a drinking man with a motorcycle problem. Okay, I did like I did the last one. I took all the parts, laid everything out, the two guards, these, all that. Make sure I had everything that it called for. And man, I got my heater on this morning. It's still pretty cold. It's not as cold as it's been, but man, I'm getting ready to knock this out. Okay, looks like the next step is I got to get in there, take those two bolts out. And okay, I managed to get that out, but I'm gonna tell you what, that one in the very back, you don't have a lot of room to get leverage. I wound up having a socket in here, and wound up having to use my little pry bar. And I can move it like one click at a time. I've got this on. I don't have it tightened up yet, But let me tell you what I wound up doing. I assembled this part first, like it said, then I tried to put it in. And just put this part in real loosely first. Then, you know, putting this back together was a little bit hard because you got those little washers in there. But I did the top one first and then the bottom one. Okay, I went on in there and tightened those 3 bolts in the back. Now the one that was in the very back, I can see that one way back up in there. I was wondering where I was going to be able to reach it, but here's a little tip. I had the socket on this side. Turn the wheel to the right, get your socket on there, you'll have room. And then I kept it all the way over to the right, and I was able to get a wrench in the back behind here to get on that nut, that top nut up there, and be able to hold it. That muffler was right there, so I couldn't get that star, or whatever you call it, socket in there to do that. But luckily, you know, when you put something together, you'll replace a shorter screw with a longer screw that they provide for you. But somewhere in, and whenever I get bolts and stuff replaced, I always put them in one spot, so I don't think that they're part of you know, something that I was supposed to be assembling. But this little bolt right here fits. It's just like this one right here, but except for having that end, it's got a bolt. So now I can just get a wrench and I can tighten this up when time comes, because I can't get a socket in there with that star. Okay, next thing I did is I went on each side and I put these in just kind of loosely. That one there, that one there. Now it's time to follow some more instructions. Okay, when I started on the right side, like I said, I put this first one, I screwed that in and I had them all loose when the whole thing was tilting. I tilted this up and I put one bolt loosely right there just to hold it into place. Okay, landed right in there, no problem. Like I say, everything on here is real loose. Then I came to this part, and you got to make sure these are kind of, that they're connected between. And when you put this on there, it'll be kind of spread out. So I took a pair of vice grips. You can see I scratched it a little bit, but that's okay. I put it on the bottom and I closed that hole, then got a screwdriver, went through that hole, made sure it was in line real good, put that first one in. Like I said, these aren't real tight yet. Then took the vice grips off, put the second one in. Okay, I finished up everything, got everything tightened up. Okay, when I tightened everything up, like I said, I had those 3 up, ones that are way up in there. I tightened those first, then when I started tightening all this up, I started back under here, those 2, came to the middle, did these 2, these 2, these 2. Then I went to the bottom, did that one. Then on the opposite side, there's another one. Got those up. Then I worked my way up here. I did those 2 on the bottom. Went around the other side, did those 2 on the bottom. Then came back around here. I did this one. And then same thing on the other side. And then at the very, very last, I tightened these up. Now I know some videos out there that kind of made me scared about this. Don't be. It's easy. You don't have to bend the bar. It's not made improperly. Just do not tighten anything up until you get a nut and a bolt in every place it belongs. Also, these come with these little crash bar protectors. Some people don't show them. Some people turn them around so they'll be on the outside. But I looked at it where that's sticking out more. Okay, and that'll save my bars from getting scratched up. Then on the lower, same thing. And I got the same way on the other side. Here's the other side. Now, and like I say, don't be afraid of these. These things are solid as a flipping rock, okay? And I think they look pretty good. Now, hey, final word about these GIVI crash bars is don't be afraid to purchase them. I was going to buy some of the more expensive ones that are over $1,000, $1,100, $1,200, but actually I couldn't get them. They weren't available. So I haven't been able to really ride my bike like I've wanted to ride it because I'm afraid I'm going to drop it. And I wanted to buy these bars, but I watched a video that kind of scared me away, saying that they didn't line up right and that they were, just kind of a bad design. But I remembered that, I purchased, I had these crash bars on my little Himalayan, and it took a little while to get them on, but once they got on, they were great. But the key to these is purchase them. They're half the price. Like I say, you just got to, like, load especially, you got to keep it loose. It's about 24 or 25 bolts on this thing. Don't tighten anything until you get it all assembled, okay? And anyway, man, I hope this video helps, and I love all you guys out there. Like and subscribe.